Okay, this time we're going to take a look at the Create Outline Shape tool, which again is found here on the left-hand toolbar under the same menu as the Create Freehand Shape or the Create Bezier Shape. And the third option is called Create Outline Shapes. And before I go ahead and start drawing some shapes, I'm just going to hit Control A on my keyboard to select absolutely everything. Control A on my keyboard, and delete. And then we'll use this tool to draw. Now, basically, this tool functions almost the same as the Bezier tool, with the small difference that in the Bezier tool, if I just simply went click, 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 I got straight lines, and I had to click and drag to get the curve. Well, in this case, if I just go click, and then click, and then click, I get rounded lines, and I'm not dragging at all. So basically, in the outline tool, the lines will curve automatically, and it functions more or less the same way. In other words, before I right click, if I keep drawing, I can get to carve the hole out. The function of these three tools are very similar. It's the way the points get imported that's different. Now with the Bezier tool, like I said, I had a straight line. If I just went click and then came up here, click, it was a straight line. And then when I created the third line, see, now if I pull my third line down like it was a triangle, everything's curved, because the curve of this shape is affected by the line from here to there and the line from here to here, and the shape of this line that's wiggling around right now is affected by where I put the next point. And you can see when I move this point around that it affects the curve before and after. Now, you have the ability to still click and drag like a Bezier, so if I click and drag, I can have further influence where the curves are going. So you have that ability with the Create Outlines to use the click and drag, but if you just wanted to follow a piece of artwork and it was meant to be curved, it would be easier perhaps than having to always click and drag with the Bezier. So it gives you a sort of a natural curve just with click, 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 and then if you want to have more control over the curve, you can click and drag. So that's really the only difference between the Bezier tool and the outline tool, is that when I use the Bezier tool, if I click, 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 I get a triangle, and I have a curve. I have the ability to curve with the Bezier tool, so I can get that triangle, but if I wanted to have a curve, I can click and drag to get the curve. So oops, what did I do there? I'll start again. Click, 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 or click and drag, click and drag. When I right click, it finishes. That's the Bezier tool. When I go to outline tool, it's click, click, I get curves right away. I can click and drag to get even more control over my curves. But if I want a straight point, I hold the space bar down. Oh, not the space bar down, sorry, it is the shift key. Well, I'll start that one over. So click, 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 click. So I'm using the outline tool, and I'm automatically getting those curves. But if I wanted to have a corner point, I hold shift down, and that enables me to use the outline tool to create triangles or corners. But as soon as I let go of that shift key, I'm right back down to creating those curves again. So that's the main difference between the Bezier tool and the outline tool, is that with Bezier, everything's defaulted to a corner and it's click and drag to get a curve. When I go to the outline tool, everything's a curve and I have to hold my shift key down to get a corner, or click and drag to have the Bezier handles that I can therefore edit. And like anything else, I can create multiple lines, I can break them apart, I can join them together. So the three tools work very similarly, but they have some subtle differences, and I think it's a very important tool. So I spent quite a bit of time going over the three different methods of using it, and in general I think this is where you need to spend some time, just become comfortable using those tools, because they really open up the world in regards to being able to create absolutely any piece of embroidery that you want to. So that's the freehand shape tool, the Bezier shape tool, and then this final segment was the outline shape tool.